students. I wanted to take a few minutes here to walk you through how to import data into Google Sheets. Now, there were some changes from about a year ago, and changes that I don't think were good changes, or some of the functions are not working as they used to. So I'm going to kind of walk you through this. It's a little bit complicated to do, but I know a lot of you are having issues with the Office 365 import data feature. I kind of figured out what was going on there with that. So I'm not going to get into all that right now. Basically, if you have access to the Excel kind of PC desktop full version, that would be the recommendation to use that for the import data function, and that would go along with what I posted in the video that I put up on Canvas on Monday or Tuesday. The other option would be to use Google Sheets. That's all I'll say for now. So basically what you have here is you have here's a blank sheet, and I want to pull some data in from the websites, and I'm just going to use some of the examples of the data links that I put out in Canvas so you can see exactly what it is and where I got the data from. So I'm going to kind of just show you, just walk through this, fumble through it for a few minutes with you, and then I'll let you try this and then see if you want to meet up. We can do maybe small group meetings with students or individually over the next couple of days. So here it is. So I want to put some data imported from a website here. So I'm going to look and first pull in data from here. This is again one of the links that I posted that is out on the Canvas site in this week, and those data sets, the links to those data sets. So here you can see this web page. It's a government web page, the Federal Reserve. You take a look at the page. Visually, what is presented to us is some information, and then a pretty large table that's here, and then some footnotes, and that's pretty much it. And then the bottom, kind of some of the information about the site itself and the tools and such. So what I'm looking at here is I see there's one table on this page. Okay, it looks to be there's one table on this page. That can sometimes be deceiving, but I'm going to make the assumption that there's one table data set in this page. So it should be relatively easy to pull that in using Google. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you two ways. You can manually type in, and it's basically using a formula here to pull the data in. You can manually type it in, or you can use the insert function, and we're going to insert a function. Go over here, scroll down to web, and then you can see here the various options that are available to pull data in from the web. We are going to use the import HTML function to pull it in. Okay. So I click on that, and it brings up a formula. So here's the formula. So the important thing about this is that the Google Sheets needs three category sets. It needs a website where to get the information. It needs us to tell it what the information is on the website, whether it's a table or a list. In this case, this is a table. And then it needs to tell us what is the table number on the page. So website, what the criteria is, either a table or a list summary, and what the table number is. So I'm going to make the assumption, because what I said is that looked like there was one table on there, that's going to be table 1. So I'm going to get the information on the website, going to pull the URL, I'm going to put table, and then I'm going to put the table 1 in here. So here it is. I'm going to copy this, go back to my sheet, and I have to put all these three criteria into quotation marks as well. So I have the website in quotation marks, comma, and then quotation marks, and again it's a table, comma, and it looks like table 1 to me. Okay, so there I have the website in quotation marks, comma, quotation marks, table, comma, quotation marks 1, and then end parenthesis. Now all you have to do is hit enter. You'll see it's loading up there, and here is the data that was pulled in. Okay, usually pulls it in pretty quickly. Now there are ways that you can format this data and make it pretty and all that other stuff, but I'm not concerned with that, with those automatic features. You can do that on your own, following the criteria for the final project. Okay, because I want you to be able to access some of the tools that you're using that we learned in this class to make this look better. Okay, the important piece right now is to be able to pull the data into the website. Okay, now maybe we have a, let me just show you one more time. I'm gonna just undo what I did there, because I can't mess around with the bottom of the screen here because of the recording program. I'm gonna pull in another data set here. So here we have a website that has a bunch. This is OCED. This is a website that has a bunch of health information on it. You can see here, I'm just in general health statistics. Here's a statistics on mortality, and you can see these are presented pretty much on the website in one giant table. So I'm going to again make the assumption that this is one table. So I'm going to grab this data, I'm going to copy this back to my spreadsheet here, and I'm going to manually type it in this time. So I do equals and then import, and then there is the import HTML. I'm going to put in my quotation marks, paste that, comma, again it's a table, comma, and then I'm going to make the assumption again it's table 1. Oops. Then end parentheses. Okay. Okay, so there it pulled in the data. All that whole data set is now pulled into here. And remember something about this, that the data is not just like copying and pasting the data from the web, because this is actually making a connection with the web. So now when data updates on that end, it can be updated very simply on this end as well. So this is good if you're doing things like with the stock market or anything where the data sets need to be updated on a regular basis, where you're using that primary data source as something on the web. This could be like within a hospital system. Maybe they have a database with data sets that is on their intranet, and you can pull that information into your spreadsheet and then just update it automatically if you're doing like monthly reporting to administration or department heads or something like that. Okay. All right, so that's just kind of to show you the two ways with one table on the page. But I'm going to show you another example here. Now we have this is a Wikipedia site, list of earthquakes. So here, if we take a look and scroll down through the page, we see that there are many different table data sets. Like these will show up as tables. Sometimes they'll show up as images. These look like images actually here, but so maybe up here, yeah, this is a table, looks like a table. This looks like a table. This looks like a table. This looks like a table. So we don't know. We don't know. So you could guess. Okay, so we could say, you know what? I'm not really sure if this is a table or not. I don't think it is. Okay, so that's where we don't know. We don't know. But I'm going to make the assumption this is definitely a table of data here. This is a table of data here. And this is definitely a table of data here. I want to pull this data in. I don't know what the number of it is. So there's a way that you can do this that used to be really simple with Google Sheets to bring in the data, but something changed either on the back end with the HTML with Google or something. I don't know what the change was, but Here's what we have to do sometimes. This is where it gets to be a little bit complicated. I think that, from my perspective, those examples I just showed you, pretty simple, pretty easy to do. It's generally a kind of a flawless way to bring data into Google Sheets when there's one table on the page. This happens to have multiple tables. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a look. So if I right click anywhere on the page, usually not over a table, I'm going to inspect. So what I'm going to do here, what this will do is it takes a look at the data. So the data set where that is coming in. And what we don't know here is this is all HTML stuff, and this is where it gets confusing because most people don't know HTML. My knowledge of HTML is somewhat good, but most people don't know HTML, and I'm definitely, I wouldn't even consider myself intermediate with it, probably somewhere in between beginner and intermediate with HTML language. I can write some language, I can replicate, and I can maneuver around through HTML, but that I'm definitely not even in an intermediate level. So the point is here, this is not ideal. Okay, so what I'm looking for here is something that states that there's a table. Okay, so if I look down through here, I'm looking for table, and I don't see any right here. Okay, so one thing about this is that you can do, you can right click or you can rest the mouse pointer over the area on the web page that you scroll down through the HTML, and it'll show you, what that is. It'll show you what the content is. It'll highlight it over here as you scroll down through. Here you can see this is the first heading. The first heading is highlighted over here. Over here, when I rest on that, that means this is the HTML for this. Okay, but we're looking for a table, something that looks like a table. And what I'm not seeing here is I'm not seeing anything that says that this is a table. Okay, so that's an issue, right? Okay, so we could either do a couple things here. We could guess where the table is. So table 1, table 2, table 3. I'm going to guess that this is table 3. And I'm going to go back here, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to do equals import. We're looking for import HTML, and then the quotation marks. I got to grab the website URL, copy, come back here, paste it, end quotation, comma. Again, this is table, comma. That's telling Google Sheets what to look for on the page. And I'm going to make the assumption, maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe I think this is table 2. I'm going to end that. So I'm going to just go ahead and hit enter. It looks like, okay, let's take a look at this. So here is the table data that it pulled in from that web page. Let's go back out here because I told it to look for table 2. Okay, I'm going to go back out here, and oh, it pulled in this data right here. So it wasn't table 2, it's actually table 3. So I can come back here now, and I can replace this 2 with the 3. Let's see if that's actually it. Okay, so now there it is. I see the countries listed. I'll go back out here. There, it pulled in the right table data. Okay. Now, there is one other way that I know of to do this. Okay. There is a code that you can use that can be used to find the language of table in that HTML search when you're looking through to inspect the web page. I'm not going to show that right now because that's a little bit more high-end and a little more confusing. I'll try, if anybody is having trouble again with Excel, Office 365, you want to try Google Sheets, let's start with this video, see how this works, see if you feel a little bit better about being able to pull in some data. And if you're still having trouble, I'll post another video with that kind of add-on feature that I know about, where you actually have to implement a code into that HTML side to look for table data. But for now, let's go with this to see if this is enough to get you through this exercise. Okay, that's it. Have a great Friday afternoon and evening and a great weekend. Please let me know if this has been helpful. Take care. Bye-bye.